What if I told you there's an animal that can lose its leg and grow it back perfectly? Not just once but over and over again. Even more shocking, it can regenerate parts of its heart and brain. This is not a myth. This is the hidden life of the salamander. Salamanders are among the oldest creatures on Earth, surviving for over 150 million years. They belong to a group called amphibians, sharing ancestry with frogs and toads. But unlike frogs, salamanders don't jump or croak loudly. They move silently, living in shadows, often unseen. They are masters of staying hidden. And that secrecy is exactly what has kept them alive for millions of years. But what makes them truly unstoppable isn't where they live. It's what their bodies can do when things go wrong. Click on the subscribe button. Salamanders depend on moisture for survival. Their skin is so thin that they breathe directly through it. That means they must stay in damp environments, forests, streams, wetlands. Dry air is deadly. In fact, in some forests, salamanders are so numerous that they outweigh birds and mammals combined. And among them is one of the strangest creatures on Earth. Axolotl, a salamander that never grows up. It stays in its juvenile form forever, living underwater with feathery gills. But staying alive isn't the most impressive thing about salamanders. It's what happens when they almost die. Every salamander begins life in water. Eggs hatch into larvae that look like tiny fish. They have gills and swim freely, vulnerable to predators. As they grow, many transform. They lose their gills, grow lungs, and move onto land. But this transformation is dangerous. Many don't survive the journey. Only the strongest, or the luckiest, make it to adulthood. And if they do survive, they gain an ability that almost no other animal has. This is where salamanders become extraordinary. If a salamander loses its leg, it doesn't panic. Instead, its body activates a process that rebuilds the limb from scratch. Bone, muscle, nerves, skin, perfectly restored. But it doesn't stop there. They can regenerate. Their tail, their spinal cord, parts of their heart, even sections of their brain. This ability has fascinated scientists for decades. Because if humans could unlock this secret, we could change medicine forever. But having such power doesn't mean they live easy lives. In fact, they are constantly in danger. Salamanders are nocturnal hunters. They emerge at night, moving slowly through the darkness, feeding on insects and worms. Their movements are careful and deliberate. Because predators are everywhere. To survive, some salamanders produce toxins through their skin. Others display bright warning colors, signals that scream danger. Still, many rely on one simple strategy. Don't be seen. But even hiding isn't enough anymore. Because their biggest threat isn't a predator. Today, salamanders face a silent enemy: environmental change. Pollution, deforestation, and climate shifts are destroying their habitats. Their skin, which allows them to breathe, also makes them extremely sensitive. Even small changes in water quality can kill them. Scientists call them bioindicators. If salamanders start disappearing, it means the ecosystem is collapsing. And in many places, that's already happening. Yet despite all of this, they continue to survive. Quietly. Persistently. If you find this interesting, click on the subscribe button. For centuries, salamanders have been symbols of rebirth. Ancient cultures believed they could survive fire. A myth, but one inspired by their real-life resilience. Because while other animals heal, salamanders rebuild. They don't just recover from damage. They start over. And that raises one powerful question. What could humans become if we had the same ability? Hidden beneath leaves, inside streams, and deep in the shadows, the salamander continues its quiet life. Unnoticed. Underrated. Unbelievable. It doesn't roar. It doesn't dominate. But it possesses something far more powerful. The ability to begin again. And maybe, that's the greatest power of all.